Joining us this morning, as I've been telling you, we have special guests with us this morning, and they'll be performing this coming Friday at the Lakeview Park Rib Burn-Off, 7 o'clock until 9. Did Debbie tell you that she changed the time on this?
No, but she told me what the time was and that sometimes it's misprinted. So 7 o'clock until 9:30 is the official time.
Okay, the whole thing.
If you come from 7:30 to 9, as some people, as some announcements have stated, we'll be playing.
They'll be playing. This is Darren and Christian Lambert. And before I let them do a couple songs here, I wanted to get a little background. Darren, you were here bright and early this morning before I even got here to set up some stuff. Are you from Conneaut?
No, not originally.
No? So how long have you been here?
A little less than 2 years. We moved in January 2014.
From?
From living in a motorhome.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I'm a gypsy. I've lived all over the country, and from May of 2013 until the very beginning of January 2014, we were technically living in a motorhome, just traveling all around the Northeast. We had lived in Texas prior to that, and then we just decided that we wanted to find a new place to live and wanted to have the experience of living full-time in a motorhome, and so technically that's where we moved from, was a 29-foot Class C motorhome.
Oh my, that's interesting. How would you land in Conneaut? Of all places.
Probably not the way you would imagine. I have done a lot of research on good places to live and places that would work for us, and basically Kristen is from Northeast Ohio originally, town of Brunswick, southwest of Cleveland, and I'm from New Jersey. New Jersey is of course very expensive. I didn't figure that we could afford to live there, doing what we do at least, and so I spent a lot of time just putting together a bunch of data and looking at where we already perform, and just nice small towns that have just about everything we want to have and nothing more. I'm oversimplifying, but it took a good couple of years, just a bunch of data. I've got data all over the place.
I find that interesting that you've traveled like that. I think that's something that I always kind of thought in the back of my head, because I don't like to fly, but traveling by motor vehicle like that kind of appeals to me. Do you make your living from music?
Yeah.
Do you really? That's interesting. Well, you're doing everything that I wish I could have done many years ago.
It's never too late.
Yeah.
I did listen to a couple of your records on YouTube when I went home in between being here early this morning. And
the old, that was 1968. It was like 17, 18 years old, and long time ago. The music you do you cover other bands and groups, or do you write your own stuff?
Both.
Yeah.
Both?
Yeah.
Both is a good answer.
Yeah. So you've been playing a long time?
I've only been playing since I've been with Darren since 2010.
Really?
And I've only been playing keyboard for a year and a half or so.
Did you take lessons, or are you just natural at it?
From me.
This guy.
From you? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been singing my whole life, pretty much.
Yeah.
So that is a natural talent on my end.
I see.
As far as the piano goes, this guy right here.
Someone was on the show here maybe it's months, maybe 3 months ago, saying that you guys had performed someplace in town, and they go, this group is really good, this couple's excellent. And that was the first I had heard of you. And then when Debbie said that she had gotten you guys to perform this coming Friday at the Rib Fest, and she also said, she goes, you're going to be really impressed with how talented. And I can't remember where you performed at.
Well, there's a couple of places in town that we play, and it's 2 or 3 of the nursing homes. We play at Villa at the Lake, Lake Point, and then another one that we've played in town is the Ashtabula County Nursing Home. So
Okay.
I don't know if maybe some of the workers that are there
Could have
that
been.
have done that
Could have been.
have come to you or come to Debbie and mentioned us.
Do you play at any clubs or anything like that?
No.
Not yet.
Yeah. Would you?
Yeah, we would if the situation were right. It's just that, I've been playing at elder care facilities of various types for 9 years, and something that I know, it's something I'm used to. And as far as getting into other places, like around here there are a lot of wineries. We'd like to perform at the wineries. We'd like to perform at, as you said, some of the clubs, the various and assorted other venues. And it just comes down to getting into those areas slowly while we're still maintaining our ability to make a living doing what we're doing, which requires that we book a lot of shows in the places that we're familiar with and sort of ease our way into diversifying.
How would you describe your act? Folk?
We're just a couple of natural, ordinary, well, maybe not so ordinary, human beings who...
I would say fun and energetic. Yeah. And we cover a lot of different types of music. We'll do polkas and waltzes, we'll do rock and roll, we'll do country, well, I don't know, we've done a couple of John Denver songs, and he's considered more folk music,
folksy,
not folk music. But yeah, I think it's a wide variety of music.
Well, that's important to do that.
Because we don't really focus on one specific genre.
We found that even at the care facilities where we typically play, there is such a wide variation in age of residents that it's almost impossible to tell from one place to another what we're going to find. For example, we've played for a resident who was as young as 17 years old. Jordan, that's a shout out to you if you happen to be watching. She's local. She lives here in Lake Point, and so needless to say, she wants to hear a lot of more modern stuff.
Sure.
Whereas at the upper end, we've played for people as old as 106. And you can imagine the kind of music they'd like to hear. If it's from back when they were young, we're looking at stuff that's 80, 90 years old.
Right. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was, when you were growing up, and maybe even today, do you have any special artists that you kind of like?
Yeah. Me personally, I know I do. Do you have any? I don't think you've ever really told me of any.
I don't think I have, even to this day, I don't have a specific favorite. My parents were born in the 50s, and so their music they listened to was 50s, 60s, 70s. And I grew up listening to 60s and 70s, and so I would say that right now it's the type of music I prefer to listen to and kind of gravitate towards.
That's kind of my era too.
Yeah.
Because my whole life turned around when the Beatles came out. Before that, we didn't have that, but that group was completely different from what we were used to. I grew up as a little boy with Elvis Presley, and I would play that Hound Dog song over and over again on a little tiny record player over and over till I wore it out. And then out of nowhere in '64, the Beatles came across and debuted on the Ed Sullivan Show, and that, to this day, is probably one of my favorite groups, which was only together about 7 or 8 years. That's all the longer they were together. You didn't say who your favorite was.
Well, I was trying to see if she was going to go first, actually. My favorite groups, let's see, when I started out as a very young child, I think the first group that was my favorite was the Beach Boys. You have to figure that my parents also were children of the 40s and 50s, and like I always tell people, the reason why I like a lot of music that's older than me is because when I was growing up, Mom and Dad had control of the tape player and the record player.
Yep.
So whenever any music was played in the house, it was stuff that they listened to, and they would always play the stuff that they grew up with, like from the 50s and 60s. And so the Beach Boys was one of my mom's favorite groups, and so I used to listen to them a lot. And then there was the Doobie Brothers. I liked them.
Doobie Brothers.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. When I turned 7 years old, I got a small stack of 45 RPM records for a birthday present. And among them was Willie Nelson's City of New Orleans. That was one of my first favorite songs. Eric Clapton's Lay Down Sally. That was also one of my first favorite songs. Let's see, Roseanne Cash, 7 Year Ache, I got. And of course a couple of Beach Boys records. 409. Boy, 409 was like my all-time favorite song.
And the fact that he can remember all of this is crazy.
Yeah, especially since I can't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday. I can remember the songs I liked as a kid.
One of the things that my mom used to tell me is when I was, 1 or 2 years old, when Michael Jackson's Thriller would come on TV, I would stand in front of the TV and I would dance along with the music. So I guess technically Thriller was my first favorite song.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, that, and I even, to this day, I still like that song.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned the Beach Boys, and they were ahead of their time basically with the harmonies and all that sort of stuff that they did. And really were out there before the Beatles. They were out there performing. There's a movie that I have to see that's coming on DVD here, pay-per-view, I believe it's called Love and Mercy, the story of Brian Wilson. I want to see that movie. But yeah, you get a good selection of different groups. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to let Lambert's perform for us here this morning, and we also have to kind of set the television because we're having a little problem with our telecaster now. Everything's kind of blinking green. We got to fix that. So we'll do all that here, and we'll be back right after that. We had a little technical problem. We got that all straightened around. Thank you, Andy, for doing that. Right now, we're going to be entertained by Darren and Kristen Lambert, who will be performing this coming Friday at the Lakeview 6th Annual Rib Burn-Off and Chili Cook-Off. And that's this Friday. And they'll start at about 7 o'clock and probably go into about 9:30.
Yeah.
About that. So we'll be down there for a couple hours at least. And come on down and check them out. We're just going to get a sample of what they can do. They don't have all their equipment in here, obviously, because of the size of our studio. But we're going to let them perform now. What's your first song?
We're going to do Jackson, as originally recorded by Johnny Cash and June Carter.
Okay.
Because that's one of our favorite songs to do all time. Just because it gives us the opportunity to ham it up and be goofy. You know, there's one thing to be said about doing a song. There's another thing to be said about, you know, being able to have the banter back and forth. So, you know, we had fun with that.
Okay. All right. Jackson.
All right.
Who originally did that?
That was originally done to the best of our understanding by Johnny Cash and June Carter.
Okay, Okay, yeah, that sounds about
It's, it's a fun song. Yeah, the original recording that they do, they kind of ham it up too. So we just figured we'd take it to the next level. As I like to tell people, we're two of the world's worst comedians, mostly because if we were to try to make jokes, we'd be the first ones to laugh at them. So the only way we can really make people laugh is if we, you know, kind of banter back and forth and just do it through music.
Sure, sure. Got a couple more songs?
Yeah, we're going to do another song, actually. My cousin Yvonne, when she found out last night that we were going to be on TV, she said that we had to do this next song. This is one of our originals. And I suppose I can tell the backstory behind this song. It was Memorial Day 2013. And I wanted a song that conveyed a specific message. But I couldn't find anything. So I decided, you know, the only way to solve this problem is to write one. So I wrote this song. This is, you know, by now about 2.5 years old. And I suppose that of all the originals in my first batch, this was the best received. This one is called I've Known a Few.
Right.
Standing not so far away in his camouflage and his black beret on a quiet sunny day in May. I walked over and said, "How are you? I appreciate everything you do. You're a hero in every way." "Thanks, my friend, but don't forget, that's a stripe I don't have yet. I'm a soldier, not a hero, but I've known a few. There are those who do deserve the title, but they lost their lives in battle. Some of my best friends never came back, so please don't pat me on the back. Me and you, and I've known a few. He said, "Follow me to where you'll find the greatest of all humankind." We got in this truck and headed down the road. They didn't live like kings and queens. You never saw them in the magazines. And what they did, most people never know. We turned right, drove past a tree. The sign said Veterans Cemetery. And in a somber voice he said, "Look around. 'Cause I've known a few. There are those who do deserve the title, they lost their lives in battle. Some of my best friends never came back, so please don't pat me on the back, 'cause they're the real heroes to me and you. And I've known a few. Each hero
nice song.
And that one is one of the featured songs on our recent album that we put out called A Little Bit of Us.
Where can people get your music?
Right now, they would have to ask us, because thus far we just self-recorded, self-produced, self-manufactured, and have self-marketed.
I understand that. I've been there. I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, through our website, DarrenLambertMusic.com, people can submit a request. They can contact us, and we're available for booking shows through the website as well. So yeah, it's DarrenLambertMusic.com.
I was going to throw a couple things at you.
Okay.
Just I'm not a big fan of Bob Dylan's voice, but I like his music. I like his songs. And the other night I was watching a movie and they featured "Knocking on Heaven's Door," and I go, man, that was really good in its day. Other groups have done it as well. And he has another song out too that you might not be familiar with, but it's called "Things Must Change," which was from a movie called Wonder Boys. And it just seems to me like his melodies. He knows how to write good melodies, and good words obviously as well. But a lot of people don't like Bob Dylan, as an entertainer. But he's still playing, and he's close to what, 75, 76 years old?
He's in his 70s, to the best of my understanding. It's one of the things I've always told people, that musicians are just a different bunch. Most people think by the time they get up, they're looking at getting close to 60, 65 years old. They think to themselves, I'd like to be able to retire by then. Musicians, not so much. They're thinking to themselves, I hope I can still be doing this when I'm 65.
Sure.
You got people out there like Chuck Berry's going to be 89 years old next month. He's still performing regularly. How about Willie Nelson, 82, just released an album.
Sure.
Loretta Lynn, 83, still touring around
Chuck
the
Berry,
country.
89.
Yeah,
We're going to be 89 in October. So.
I already mentioned him.
Did you?
So you've been hanging around with me too long. Now you're not paying.
Oh, boy.
Well, you got McCartney, who was in his early 70s, still performing.
Absolutely.
He's 74.
Elton John, did you say?
Mick Jagger.
Elton John, no, he's pushing 70.
Yeah, he's
still
pushing
performing.
70.
Mick Jagger's in his 70s. He's still performing.
Yeah.
You never hear somebody saying, I can't wait till I get to age 65 so I can finally put this guitar away for good and never have to play it again.
They don't retire.
Yeah, they don't.
They just keep playing. That's a good thing. My dad always said, when he gave me guitar lessons as a little kid, he goes, you can play this thing until the day you die. It's a heck of a hobby. So, and he was right.
Do you still play?
Not as much as I used to. I've lost all the calluses on my fingers.
That's always the pits.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. But I have a Martin guitar. What's that one?
This is an Alvarez.
Alvarez, yeah, I've had
Acoustic
Alvarez.
electric.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
Had it for a long time. You can see it's got the typical dents and dings on it.
Oh, yeah.
Some of it's being held together by duct tape. I mean, after all, what's a musician's instrument if it doesn't have a few dents and
That's
dings?
right. You got to strum on that thing.
Yeah.
Can you do one more song?
Yeah, sure. Why not? See, I thought we were only going to be doing a couple of them, but
Well, I'm throwing you on the spot here.
Well, we'll do another one. Yeah, why not? Why not? Matter of fact, let's see. We've already done. Let's see. We've done an upbeat song. We've done a
You want to do Elvis?
kind of slow song. Should probably do another original that sort of falls in the middle there. So.
You want to do Beer Bottle Brand?
Yes, I'll do that one for you, because one of the things that we do, you might notice here that some of what we're doing on camera appears to be completely unrehearsed, and that's because that's just the way it is. We don't practice our interactions. We don't do any of that stuff. When you're a musician or an artist of any kind, you pretty much have to. You have to go with the flow, and that's what we do. So we're going with the flow. And this next song is the one that Kristen swears is going to be our next hit. The funny thing is that the inspiration for the song has absolutely nothing to do with the song itself. This was about a month and a half ago. Kristen and I were doing a show up in Dunkirk, New York. We had a morning show up in Dunkirk, and then we had nothing else to do until an evening show in Bradford, Pennsylvania. So we basically had the afternoon to ourselves. We packed a lunch in a cooler, as we tend to do whenever we're out and doing a bunch of shows. And we went up to the lake, ate lunch, and then Kristen wanted to hunt for beach glass because she enjoys doing those things. So I decided I'd help her out, even though I know nothing about it. And she had told me that the red glass and the blue glass is the good stuff. That's worth something. That's the rare kind. I guess I can understand that. I'm looking around on the beach and I pick up this little piece, and I figured it was beach glass because it was brown. So I said, you know, I'm pretty sure this is beach glass because it looks beer bottle brown to me, and so it was. We put it in the bag and thought nothing else of it. Later on that day, I got it into my head that there's probably a song in there somewhere, Beer Bottle Brown. I was like, that could be a real good song title. And I'd like to say that I did manage to find the song that was in there. So, set this keyboard the way I would want to do it. Okay. Well, I ain't the type to feel blue. From the looks of it, neither are you. You're looking just right in your ivory white, and I know just what I want to do. Make this a night to remember, when everything's white in December. I got me some green, so let's cause a big scene, so this night never comes to an end. Let's paint the town beer bottle brown. Let's dance till we wear out our shoes. Then we'll kiss in the back till it all fades to black, and forget what could give us the blues. The stars are sparkling, shiny and yellow, and I knew when you looked at me and said hello. We couldn't feel down, we'd be wild as a clown, and we'd paint the town beer bottle brown. Let's have one at every bar. Tomorrow we'll pick up our cars. The indigo night is a beautiful sight, but you sure look better by far. Today I was angry and red, and I know it won't go to my head. If you and I take what might make us cry, drown it and leave it for dead. Let's paint the town beer bottle brown. Let's dance till we wear out our shoes. Then we'll kiss in the back till it all fades to black, and forget what could give us the blues. The stars are sparkling, shiny and yellow, and I knew when you looked at me and said hello. We couldn't feel down, we'd be wild as a clown, and we'd paint the town beer bottle brown. Let's paint the town beer bottle brown. Let's dance till we wear out our shoes. Then we'll kiss in the back till it all fades to black, and forget what could give us the blues. The stars are sparkling, shiny and yellow, and I knew when you looked at me and said hello. We couldn't feel down, we'd be wild as a clown, and we'd paint the town beer bottle brown. So let's get unwound and go way out of bounds, and let's paint the town beer bottle brown.
Very well done. Very well done.
Thank
I
you.
like that song. Very catchy tune. You can see Darren and Kristen this coming Friday at Lakeview Park's Rib Burnoff come on down, enjoy some good entertainment, some good food, and a good time. And I'm sure you guys are going to go someplace. You're very, very talented.
Well, that would be really nice. That would be great. We're actually going to Nashville soon to make a recording and play some shows and see what Music City has to offer us.
Good for you. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Good luck to you both.